Today, I'm going to show you exactly why your muscle is your best longevity investment and how you can start today even if you've never lifted a weight in your life. What if I told you that your muscle mass is the single biggest predictor of how well you age? It's not your genes, it's not your diet, and it's not even cardio. Now, that sounds controversial, but let me just kind of rephrase that. All three of those things are very important, and you should do those things and pay attention to those things. But there's some recent research that's come out that I'm going to share with you that more muscle means more years and more quality in those years. Let's talk numbers. After the age of 30, most people begin losing about 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade. And that rate speeds up quite a bit after the age of 60 if the person is not exercising and really challenging their muscles. They get the signal they're not needed and they leave. So it's not as simple as just becoming weaker with less muscle. It's a little more impactful than that. First of all, muscle mass means better mobility and balance, less falling, fewer fractures. I like to tell my clients that everybody falls. They'll come to the gym and say, I had a terrible fall. I tripped on a stair and I landed and I sat there for a minute and I realized I was okay. I just had a few bruises. And I tell them everybody falls. Even Olympic athletes fall. But what happens when you have muscle mass is you fall better. Do you know what I mean by that? You have a way of resiliently surviving a fall so that you don't just crack and break a bone. The second one is it protects against chronic diseases. Muscle helps regulate blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and supports heart health. One of the things that I learned as a bodybuilder about muscle, we call it a glucose dump. So when you eat sugar, even complex carbohydrates that are slow burning sugars, they immediately seek out where they're needed in the body. And the muscles say, me, here. And the sugar rushes to the muscles first. And that is where a lot of it stays and gets stored there for quick energy and to be able to use on a dime. And then if there's too much, then of course it can slowly become stored as fat. But the more muscle you have, the more sugar is utilized by muscle and less goes to storage. And it is a wonderful buffer to avoid that pre-diabetic condition that leads to diabetes. The third one is it's your emergency reserve. If you get sick, muscle loss can mean the difference between recovery or rapid decline. And one of the greatest things is also about that thing I said about muscles being a glucose dump. It boosts your metabolism when you have more muscle. More muscle, more places to put the sugar to use, and more energy to use it. So you have this basal metabolism that burns hotter. You just have more wood on the fire. So the calories that you eat are expended more readily, and there's less probability that you will store unwanted fat. So if you've ever struggled, and ladies, I know I'm talking to you about this, after 50, that little pooch that we get on our stomachs or the back fat or the bra fat. Oh, well, having more muscle on your body changes everything. Now, let's talk action. What if you're telling me, well, Janet, that's all well and good, but I've never lifted weights before. I've avoided it because I don't know how. I don't know what I'm doing. I watched a few videos and tried, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. Where do I start? I've got you covered. My first healthy tip in this area is body weight basics. Your body has weight, and it can be a wonderful tool for resistance training when you're first starting out because you're lifting your body weight all the time just by walking around and moving. But start with simple moves like a set of squats, 12 to 15 squats. Use a chair as a backstop so that you can stand up and sit down just using your body weight. Doing push-ups against the kitchen counter and then slowly moving down to a lower level as it becomes too easy to keep yourself challenged. And then planks on the ground. They build strength fast, just with body weight. So no weights needed. After body weight, the next thing I would recommend is whatever you choose to start doing 2 to 3 times a week. Strengthen that often because then you'll start to see real progress. You want to keep stimulating your muscles often enough so that they get the message you mean business. And they can be short sessions, 20 to 40 minutes. You don't have to go hours and hours and hours to see progress. In fact, if you overdo it, there's a likelihood that you might get burnt out, get discouraged, or be really exhausted, so tired that you don't feel like trying it again later in the week. We want to avoid that. Step number 3, use what you have. You don't have to invest in building a home gym to make it effective for you. And I mean literally use what you have. If you got heavy soup cans or water bottles, you can use them as dumbbells to lift. I don't know if you're old enough to remember this. This is giving away the fact that I'm going to be 70 next year, but I grew up watching Jack LaLanne on TV. He was on every morning, and he really encouraged women especially to also pick up weights. And then he brought out his wife. She looked gorgeous, and she was very fit and very feminine. And she did the little chair drops where she had her body in front of the chair and dipped down so that she could build up her triceps and her core. And he just showed different things you could do with a chair and a couple of jugs of water, like gallon jugs to carry like a farmer's carry. There were all different things you could do with just makeshift objects. And then you can move into maybe getting a small set of dumbbells, 5-pound, 8-pound, 10-pound, 12-pound, a little stand that you can put over in the corner so it doesn't engulf the whole room, and start using those. They're not real expensive. You can just get them on Amazon or down at the sporting goods store. And those are a great way to start to kind of ease in. If you are at the point where you've used body weight, you've established a routine of 2 to 3 times a week, and now you're ready to level it up a little bit. And then, as a caveat, it's not a bad idea to hire a trainer for just a month or so to just teach you everything. So the gym where you like to go work out, there's probably trainers there. And this is what I recommend you do. This is picking a trainer hack. And this is what I did when I was looking for a trainer, when I needed to get a new trainer because my old one moved away. I got on the treadmill facing the gym floor and I just watched the trainers. I went at the time of day that I would like to train, morning, and then I just watched all the different trainers. And I could see right away which ones would take care of me. There'd be a trainer looking at their phone, scrolling, and here's their client over there walking lunges, doing them incorrectly, chance for injury. But they're just like, oh, hi, hey, Joy, how are you doing? And talking to their friends, and their client's working out, and they're just ignoring them. And they don't know you're watching them, so it's unfiltered. And then you'll see that one trainer who will just stick with that client, doesn't take their eyes off of them, and helps support them and gently and positively correct their form so that they get the best benefit out of the exercise. Wow, that's a sore point with me because I know that people have had bad experiences and don't want to hire a trainer because they went too hard and were too mean or critical or complacent and not really paying attention. All those things are negatives. So look for somebody who really gets it. And I have a bias here. So the older, the better. I like training women that are in their late 40s all the way through their 80s, and men. I half of my clients are men, and they like training with someone that's kind of in their age range. I think they feel like I'm not going to judge them maybe, but I am right in the trenches with them, so it's really fun. So we have the body weight basics. We have 2 to 3 times a week as your routine. We have the idea of using what you have. Start simple with little things around the house. If that works well, you can move into some simple weights that are low cost and then escalate on a scale all the way to picking a really good trainer who will keep you accountable and teach you to do everything right. Even if it's only for a month or two, and then you can go off on your own. But you will know and have confidence that you're doing it right. The fourth one is fuel your muscles. You've got to put protein in your body. If you're asking your body to build muscle fiber and you're not giving it the little Legos that it needs to snap together to make your body have more muscle, then it's kind of ineffective in a way. You're not going to make as quick a progress. It'll slow you down. So think about lean meats, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, And I would say also legumes and lentils, things like that you can add into your diet. Low-fat cottage cheese, all of those things are just ways to keep adding. And a really good quality protein shake and good quality protein bars. I'm going to be doing a video in the next week or two on how to pick good protein bars, because I've had people say, I still don't know how to pick the right one. So I'm going to come back to that in a video in the near future. Muscle is the best insurance policy. Even the science is showing us that now. Lock, stock, and barrel. And it's never too late to start, although the sooner the better. What I like to tell people is the best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time to start is right now. So if you're ready to start building strength and longevity, drop a comment, ask a question. What is the first step you're going to start on today? I'm right there with you. I'm still going strong. I started when I was about 47, and I'm going to be 70 next year. And I am not slowing down, because I'm realizing now this is my savings account. This is my insurance policy for the last decade of my life and everything in between, because I'm strong enough to enjoy all the things I want to do now. If you found this helpful, let me know and share it with someone who will appreciate it. Aging is inevitable, but decay is optional.